The 2011 book, What It Is Like to Go to War by Karl Marlantes, is a philosophical exploration of the profound psychological effects that warfare inflicts on those who experience it. Written by the Rhodes Scholar and Vietnam War veteran, Marlantes, who served as a lieutenant and earned numerous honors including the Navy Cross, Bronze Star, 2 Navy Commendation Medals for Valor, 2 Purple Hearts, and 10 Air Medals, the book delves into the emotional and mental toll of combat. After writing the acclaimed novel Matterhorn, based on his Vietnam experiences, Marlantes wrote What It Is Like to Go to War as a non-fiction counterpart, offering a candid examination of how ill-prepared soldiers are for the psychological challenges they will face, and suggesting ways the government could mitigate the mental wounds of war. Returning from Vietnam, Marlantes, who later attended Oxford University and Yale, struggled not only with physical injuries, but also with what is now known as PTSD. He was haunted by traumatic memories of his service, and his attempts to cope through drugs and alcohol are reflected in the book. His vivid and poignant descriptions of his inner turmoil are among the book's most striking elements. The isolation he felt due to public animosity toward the war exacerbated his struggles, making recovery even more difficult. While today we no longer blame soldiers for participating in wars we oppose, they are often still treated as outsiders rather than integrated into society. The professional volunteer army is respected, but also kept at a purposeful distance. Based on his personal experience and years of reflection, Marlantes offers an alternative approach to preparing young soldiers for war, one that cultivates conscious warriors. Drawing on a wide range of references, including Homer's The Iliad, the Bhagavad Gita, the Irish epic Táin Bo Cuailnge, modern psychological theory, and sociological research, Marlantes uses his diverse knowledge to support his insights. He highlights how ancient societies used rituals and spiritual practices to acknowledge the profound changes war inflicted on soldiers, creating ways to process and reframe their experiences. One of his core ideas is that, in addition to physical and technical training, soldiers should be taught to find meaning and create narratives from the chaos and destruction they witness in war. The question of justifying killing in war is deeply complex. Historically, it has often been tempting to prepare soldiers for this task by dehumanizing the enemy. Marlantes himself recalls how the army encouraged soldiers to view the Vietnamese not as people, but as a lesser species. He recounts a particularly unhelpful encounter with a chaplain whose vague reassurances failed to address the critical questions. Why is killing necessary? How does it fit into the broader context of a soldier's life? And how should one process the inevitable emotional fallout of taking a life? In contrast, Marlantes advocates for creating rituals, providing ongoing spiritual support, and offering guided reading groups to help soldiers navigate these challenges. While such practices cannot be imposed on young soldiers, their availability would foster a culture of conscious warriors. Marlantes also dedicates significant attention to the period following war. He reflects on the Homeric rites of passage designed to cleanse warriors returning from combat, and argues that our society has not developed adequate systems to help soldiers reintegrate. He proposes an in-between period of detoxification after combat, to help identify and address any mental or emotional needs before soldiers return to civilian life. Furthermore, Marlantes believes society must come to terms with the fact that we are all, in some way, complicit in the wars fought on our behalf. A shared understanding of this reality would encourage a mindset that uses violence only as a last resort and as sparingly as possible. By accepting collective responsibility, soldiers might more easily transition back to civilian life. The book concludes with a retelling of the Roman god of war, Mars, a figure who originally embodied not just violence and bloodshed, but also the concept of justice. Marlantes wishes that this balance of fairness and force could become a guiding principle for our military and government. Recognized as one of America's foremost war writers, Marlantes has earned widespread acclaim for both of his books. What It Is Like to Go to War, in particular, has been praised for its clear, poignant, and deeply thoughtful prose, as well as the depth of Marlantes' reflections. As Sebastian Junger wrote in the New York Times, he has become the preeminent literary voice on war of our generation. He is a natural storyteller and a profoundly thoughtful thinker who not only illuminates war for civilians, but also offers a kind of spiritual guidance to veterans themselves. Thank you for watching. If you enjoy this video, leave a like and subscribe.